Hey guys, we are picking up on section 6.2, and if you notice, I deleted everything that I wrote because I really worked hard on that problem, and then I realized I was steering us down a long, dark, and dangerous path. What I should have done is observe the fact that the vertices, let's go back to the picture first. We've got something like this. So F, G, H, J. And we know it's a parallelogram because that's what we were told. Please forgive me. Forgive how ugly this is. All right, so we were told that it's a parallelogram, and we learned that the diagonals of a parallelogram intersect at the midpoint. They cut each other in half. So instead of finding the equations of the line and looking for the intersection, I should just be finding the midpoint of each, well, the midpoint of one segment, and then I got the midpoint of the other because they got a cross at the same place. My bad. So this really could have been done much easier than I was doing it, so I'm apologizing for that, but that's okay. It was a fun trip down memory lane, wasn't it? You enjoyed it. You loved it. It was my favorite. Okay, so what we're going to do is find the midpoint of each of these guys. Remember the midpoint formula? It says take the average of the x's. So if I'm going to find the midpoint of GJ, I'm going to take the average of the x's, 3 plus negative 3 over 2, and then the average of the y's, negative 4 plus 5 over 2, and that should be it. So 0 divided by 2 is still 0, and negative 4 plus 5 is 1 divided by 2. You can call that 1/2 or 0.5, whatever floats your boat. So that legitimately is the point. I could have found the midpoint of this guy just because you may want to do that to prove to yourself that it works out the same. And so that's the midpoint of FH. The average of those two would be 2 plus a negative 2 over 0, and then 4 plus a negative 3. I don't know where I got the 0 from. Sorry, babies. 2 plus negative 2 over 2. That's the average. And then the average of the y's. 4 plus negative 3 over 2. And we get the same thing. 0, that's 0, divided by 2 is 0. And then 4 plus negative 3, which is 1, over 2 is 0, 1. Sorry for making it take so long. I apologize. And for our final, I don't know, the final example, I'm not going to do this proof out, but I do want to talk about it because I think the logic is sound and good. So I want to talk about it, but I'm not going to write it out. They asked for a paragraph proof, so I'm going to give kind of a verbal paragraph proof for us. So let's take a look. We're given that ABDG, that's that little quadrilateral up in the corner, is indeed a parallelogram. And then we're given that AF is congruent to CF. So I'm going to write that out a little bit or highlight what we're talking about. So this guy is a parallelogram. That was really terrible. That was a parallelogram. Just there. That's still terrible, but that's a parallelogram. And then we're given that this segment and this segment are congruent. They want us to prove that BDG and C are both equivalent. And the way we're going to do that, the way you should see that is, one, recognize that by saying that AF and CF are equal, ACF is an isosceles triangle. Do you remember from the last section? We learned that the base angles of an isosceles triangle are congruent. So from there, I could say that angle A and angle C are congruent. So that's just from AF equaling to CF. Now let's get back to the fact that this thing over here is considered a parallelogram. So this is a parallelogram. What are some things that we know about parallelograms? Well, we know their opposite sides are parallel. Yes, yes, more. We know that their opposite sides are congruent. What about the angles? We know that their angles, opposite angles, are congruent as well. So that tells me that angle A is also congruent to angle BDG. If angle A is congruent to angle BDG, then clearly angle BDG must also be congruent to angle C by the transitive property of equality. All right. So, with that thinking in mind, and with an excitement to start your problems, butting at your heart right now, I'm going to let you guys go and talk to you later. Let me know if there's any questions, problems, setbacks, personal issues. I will happily talk to you about them later. Take care. Bye bye.